result is positive.
And we're in the waiting room.
Transfer is delayed.
Should I do this? Is this too early?
Telling you, this waiting game, kind of used to it by now. Same old, same old. Dr. Amy was exceedingly kind and gracious to invite us to stay at her house night before transfer.
I'm not nervous, but I'm excited.
What are you?
I'm feeling bad about it.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay guys, so here is a quick overview, at least I hope it will be quick, of what has happened so far to catch you all up on what has happened this past year. So in March, the very beginning of March, we had our first egg retrieval. We had 26 eggs retrieved. Out of those 26 eggs, 18 of them fertilized. From those 18, 5 of them made it to blastocyst stage, and those were sent out for genetic testing. The results of those 5 were that only 1 was viable, and thankfully also genetically normal, called euploid. So we had 1 euploid from the first batch. Then in May, we had our second egg retrieval done. The results from that one were 33 eggs retrieved, 22 of them fertilized, and then 12 of those made it to the blastocyst stage. Those were sent out for genetic testing. And then those results were, we had 4 potentially viable embryos. 1 euploid, meaning completely normal and healthy. All chromosomes intact, nothing added, nothing deleted. And then we had 3 mosaics, 2 high mosaics and 1 low mosaic. The mosaics have something wrong with them, but they have a great enough chance of correcting themselves and turning into a normal baby that most clinics will transfer mosaic embryos. Now our 2 euploids, the one that we got from the first egg retrieval and the one we got from the second egg retrieval, as well as our low mosaic, meaning barely affected mosaic embryo, those 3 are all day 5 blasts and are all 3 rated AA, which is the highest rating an embryo can receive. The 2 high mosaics, meaning that they're highly affected by mosaicism. I do not recall the grade of those embryos, but they are all in the freezer waiting for us to transfer them whenever we desire. Now I'm also going to add that I'm very thankful that none of our embryos from the first or second batch had any issues that could pose ethical dilemmas. For instance, none of our embryos that came back from genetic testing had any genetic conditions, no Down syndrome. They were either healthy or potentially healthy or completely not viable. So very thankful for that. July we thought would be transfer month, but Dr. Amy recommended a few tests to be performed, making July a mock cycle month with transfer in August. So last month we did a mock cycle, and I had my hormones monitored throughout my cycle, had the ERA, the Emma, the Alice, and the Receptiva DX tests done. And not all of those have come back yet. The ones which have come back have been normal, thankfully. And so we're still planning, though, on this month being transfer month. The remainder of the tests should come back soon. If any of those come back abnormal, then we will pause our transfer plans. But so my doctor's having us do an assisted natural cycle. So for me, that looks like 4 or 5 days of taking Femera, very low dose, on starting on cycle day 3, and then on day 14, around there, I have a follicle check, and then trigger shot, so they know exactly when I ovulate, because Transfer has to be timed exactly, precisely, like 5 or 6 days after ovulation. My first follicle check is supposed to be on Monday, which is in like 4 days or something like that. At which point I will probably take the trigger shot that night, either Monday night or Tuesday night, and then hopefully like transfer 5 days after that. So it's just, wow, coming right on up. August, everything looked great for transfer to happen later in the month, until one of the tests that Dr. Amy had ordered the previous month came back inconclusive. Just got out of my follicle check with Dr. Amy, and this is day 13 of my cycle. So she's gonna, day 13. And so she's having me do, what's the day today?
Yeah.
Monday. All the testing results have come back from last month's mock cycle. The Receptiva DX, the Emma, and the Alice, and the ERA. However, the ERA test came back inconclusive, which basically means there wasn't enough DNA in the sample to give an accurate result. So, the question is, do we redo that next week? Or do we proceed with transfer on Sunday or Monday? That's the $1 million question. I cannot believe the transfer is supposed to be in only 3 days. Last night I was like, dear Jesus, please calm my anxious heart. I hope we're not doing the wrong thing and not redoing the ERA test. So the month leading up to transfer has been just real chill. So basically I went in for baseline ultrasound at the start of my period, and then on day 14 or so, 13, 14, I went in for a mid-cycle ultrasound, and then just starting progesterone 4 days before transfer. So definitely nothing like an egg retrieval and all the visits that entails. It's just been real chill. Oh dear, I have no idea how I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to take my vaginal progesterone tonight, and there's this thing and this thing. I am very unsure how this works. So we decided better safe than sorry, which means redoing the ERA test. As a result, transfer this month is canceled. So my periods should be starting in about a week and a half, at which point we're gonna go through everything all over again. So then September rolled around. Surely transfer would happen this month. Well, until the unexpected and the undesired happened. So my period started yesterday, and so today I went in for my baseline ultrasound, and everything looks perfect. The ultrasound and the labs and everything. So transfer this month. Well, guys, I am very sorry to have to break the tragic news. This little pumpkin has COVID. And I'm also very sorry to break the news that I've started coming down with a pretty bad headache and really bad fatigue and low-grade, but getting more mid-grade lower body aches. This means that I'm getting it too. What does this mean for transfer in 10 to 13 days? I have no idea. First COVID test I have taken so far. We're gonna see. Is the line really dark? Is it starting to fade? We are going to see. Okay.
Why dipping it?
Now we can see.
Set my alarm for 60.
Hey, what's the result of this?
The result is positive.
So today is day 6 for me, and I tested a strong positive still this morning. So unfortunately, transfer will definitely not be, well, I say unfortunately, maybe no fortunately, because honestly I can't even imagine, even if I did test negative, proceeding with transfer in like 6 days, because I definitely have seems like a very bad note to start a pregnancy out on. Anyway, so that's definitely not happening. So we're going to have to do another ERA retest, because the last one came back non-informative again. No one knows why. So Dr. Amy's coming to draw my blood through the window, a Dr. Amy drive-through, and that's why I am triple master here, because she's going to come and draw my blood, and then probably trigger shot will be tonight, and then retest on like, a week from now or so. So that's the plan, and then plans for transfer next month. But as you can tell, never know what's going to happen. So if it's going to happen next month, only God knows.
It's almost 8:39.
Oh, was that right, Wesley?
It's almost 8:39.
Okay. So I've been having a strange suspicion the last week or two. It started when, after we had COVID, I craved sweets, which is very much unlike me. Ever since I went sugar-free, pregnant with this little man, my sweet tooth went from
This was it.
10 out of 10 to like, I just didn't have a sweet tooth anymore. So it was very odd that after COVID, I was craving sweets. Now it could just be COVID, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I might be more than COVID. So, I don't know, but I'm gonna go get a pregnancy test. Wouldn't that be the craziest plot twist imaginable? I am very thankful to report that the pregnancy test was very negative. It's funny, for I am thankful for a negative pregnancy test. For those who have not been following us on Instagram and who do not know the backstory, I have a balanced translocation. So I have a chromosomal abnormality which affects the my eggs. So the majority of my eggs are also chromosomally abnormal, not viable. That is why we've had 11 miscarriages so far in the last 3.5 years. So this is why we've been doing IVF, so they can genetically test the embryos and transfer the embryos that are genetically normal. So we've had no issues getting pregnant, and even get pregnant when we're not wanting to get pregnant, when we're trying not to get pregnant. So I'm very thankful for that negative pregnancy test so that we can hopefully continue to proceed with transfer plans in just a couple of weeks, Lord willing. Now, this is October, guys, and everything so far is looking perfect for transfer to happen in only but a few short days. Just got out of my baseline ultrasound here at Dr. Amy's office. Everything looks beautiful, no cyst. Lining of the uterus is exactly where it needs to be at this particular point in my cycle. And so we are on track for transfer in roughly 3 weeks, or just a little shy of it. So I hope and pray that it actually happens this month. We'll see. Okay, so I am headed to the store right now to get some frozen fruit to make our morning smoothies again. I have been out of the habit ever since we got COVID. So last time I've had smoothies for breakfast was like 3 weeks ago. We're getting back on track. Embryo transfer is supposed to be in 2.5 weeks. and I'm gonna start running. I'm gonna try to run every morning. Again, get back on our green smoothies every morning for breakfast. Let's do this. Let's get healthy again.
That one.
Grab some pineapple. Yeah, put it in the car. Some mango.
What?
There, right there. These at the very top.
This one?
Yeah, that's right there. Boy, I cannot believe the transfer is supposed to be in like 2.5 weeks. Boy, the countdown's on, guys. So I have made some pre-transfer resolutions. 3. Drink a gallon of water every day. Drink my green smoothie every day, which is a full quart of green smoothie, which is 2/3, 3/4 greens. And then number 3 is exercise every day. So we are going to town, and I had to bring along my gallon right here. I've drunk about half of it. Just arrived at Dr. Amy's office. This is for my mid-cycle ultrasound. She looks at the lining of the uterus, size of the follicles, and if they're at the right size, then I trigger tonight. If not tonight, then it would probably be tomorrow. So it's just
You want that?
just in a very important ultrasound. It determines if and when transfer occurs. So if she sees something that shouldn't be there, then we'd have to delay transfer again. So here comes the moment of truth. Okay, guys. So what is the word? Drum roll. Transfer is going to be next Friday. Woohoo! Week from today. Exciting stuff. I can't believe that the countdown, that the true week countdown is here. We are up at my parents' place right now, which is 30 minutes north of our house that flooded. Now we are staying here because our insurance money has plumb run out for housing, so we're no longer able to stay down by my doctor's office. What are you doing, silly boy? Which is where we've been living for the last 4 months in a hotel. But since our insurance money has run out, we're no longer able to live down there. So my parents have been kind enough to let us come up here and stay here for a short time. I'm telling you, living the last 4 months in the city, how would you say? I've become intolerant to city life. And so coming up here is truly a breath of fresh air, pun intended. Okay, now say it again. Wesley, what did you just do?
Attack my brother.
You're protecting your brother?
Yeah.
Where did you put him to sleep?
In my bedroom.
You put him to sleep in your bedroom. Is he sleeping right now?
Yeah.
He's sleeping?
Yeah.
Is it a little brother or a little sister?
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's a brother.
Do you think he's a brother? Do you think? You're going to be such a good big brother. We have to be quiet because he's sleeping right now, right? Yeah. Okay, great. So here is our lunch today. Today is Monday. Had to think about that for a minute. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Woohoo! Is the big day. So, for lunch, it's just kind of going to be a haphazard meal, unfortunately. It's so difficult to plan, a good, thought-out menu. Living the nomad life. So, I'm just kind of trying to use up what we have gotten at the store and just kind of, make a meal out of it. So today we're going to eat at a mommy's, as you can tell. Probably some avocado on some toast. And I'm cooking some red cabbage, behind me right there. And then probably some raw carrot sticks. So, and then mango bars for dessert. If you have not seen my mango bar recipe, go check it out on Instagram. It is my and this little boy's all-time favorite. Almost forgot to take my progesterone tonight. So tonight's the first night that I start it, and I'm supposed to take it, I think, like twice a day until 10 weeks of pregnancy. Vaginal. And now I know how to do these things, and it's not as hard as I originally thought it was. So it's actually pretty self-explanatory. Let's do this. It is Thursday evening, and we just got in the car. Where are we going?
Down to San Ramon to stay at Dr. Amy's house. And going for transfer tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 10:30. Yes, Dr. Amy was exceedingly kind and gracious to invite us to stay at her house night before transfer.
Unbelievable.
So that's where we're going right now. So we're here in Dr. Amy's house. We just finished eating a delicious dinner. Amazing. And now it's late and time to hit the hay in preparation for the big day tomorrow.
Turning in, and tomorrow is going to be the big day.
We are crossing the bridge, going into San Francisco. And where are we going, sweets?
To a cafe for breakfast, and then onward.
For some vegan, organic breakfast. Okay, here we are at Nash Cafe in downtown San Francisco. So I got me an acai bowl, and Josh got himself a waffle and other delightful goodies. Transfer is supposed to be in an hour and a half now.
And we're in the waiting room.
Here we are, waiting to be brought back.
Practicing for a while for this. Perfect for this, Jenny. Wow. I know.
Nice and clear.
My uterus?
Oh, yeah.
Nice and thick.
I'm going to very gently place the speculum first. You're going to feel my touch on the outside as I do so. Embryo's obviously not in the room yet. If there's any pinching or pulling, you need to make adjustments. Please just tell me.
Nope, you're a pro.
Okay, so now I'm going to place this catheter. Almost ready. Okay. Ready? Alright, loading. Do you see that catheter moving? That's me.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Josh, when she comes in, you can even stand up if you want. Okay, here's your hand.
I have one embryo for niplet.
You can see the tip of the catheter now emerge on the ultrasound screen through my catheter. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Beautiful. That was like a shooting star. You can see under the microscope that she's flushing it and just making sure that the embryo came out of the catheter the way it looks right there. So beautiful. Okay. So slowly release that line. That's how you get pregnant here.
Okay, so the embryo has been transferred, and I've been laying here post transfers for maybe, I don't know, 8 minutes or somewhere around there. They say I should continue laying down for 5 more minutes minimum before I can get up and use the bathroom because I am bursting at the seams right now. I have to go so bad. But anyway, this is a little picture of our embryo. You'll be able to see it under the microscope. They had a right.
Like a first look. We went out and we looked in the microscope
Looked in the microscope
to see the embryo before it was put in.
Just as
It's
clear as
incredibly
crystal.
wild.
It was incredible. Just a very incredible experience. So now it's about 5 o'clock-ish in the evening. So transfer was at 10:30, and it was so simple and so easy. I just walked in, no medications, no shots, no IVs, no pills, no nothing, no temperature. Yes, they did take our temperatures upon checking in at the front desk. But other than that, we just walked on back, and transfer, the process only took 5 minutes at most. Very, very short. And then I laid down for probably 15 or 20 minutes after. Then we came back up to where we're staying at family's house for the time being. She's putting me on a modified bed rest for the next 2 days. So for lunch today, I did not eat that which was extremely nutritious and healthful first post-transfer meal. So I decided to make myself a good old smoothie to give my body some more and some good nutrition. So here we go. We'll add some pineapple. We'll add some
Mango?
Oh, don't want to make too much.
Is that too
And I'll
much?
add a little bit of protein powder, maybe a scoop. Okay. What are you doing, my boy?
Coconut one?
Okay. Then we'll put in the remainder of this banana. Okay. And then I forgot the milk. Can you open the fridge
Yeah.
and get the milk in there?
Yeah.
Are you big enough to do that?
Here you go.
Amazing. Thanks, my boy.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll add some milk. And then we'll add some acai powder. Lots of acai powder.
Say powder?
Let's do maybe 2 large scoops, maybe even
2 large.
3. I read that acai helps with implantation.
Yeah. And here.
So perhaps this will turn out to be an modified acai bowl, huh? Delicious. And then we'll drizzle, let's just add it, some good old cashew butter. Okay, this is gonna be pretty delish. Okay,
Pretty good.
pretty delish.
Pretty good.
Good.
So,
Let's split it up. Delicious. Okay, let's give you some, my boy. Okay, now take a sip and tell me how it tastes. You want to start?
I want more side in there.
More?
Yeah.
Petri,
You taste sips right now, and you tell me how it is.
Petri dish.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like more side.
Mm-hmm.
It's like more side.
That's real tasty. Good morning, guys. I really have quite a hairdo going on right now.
Morning, hair.
Anyway, today is 4 days post-transfer, and I'm thinking about taking a pregnancy test this morning. But I am as nervous as can be. I've never been this nervous to take a pregnancy test before. Here we go. Okay, here guys comes the moment of truth. At least it should be the moment of truth. Okay, ready? Count to 5, Wesley. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
That was kind of 6 seconds, so that's okay. Okay. There comes the moment of truth.
I think it's premature to do this, by the way. Behold.
Probably so. Ah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
There's a faint second line.
Let me see. Let me see. What is this?
Faintest imaginable.
What is it doing? What is it doing?
It may mean that we're pregnant, Pumpkin.
Huh?
It may mean that Mommy has a baby growing
What?
in her uterus.
It is 10 days post-transfer, and I was supposed to get my blood drawn 8 days post-transfer. Problem is that where we are currently, up where my parents are residing at the moment, it's near no large city, only a very small town. And when I went to the LabCorp draw station, they said the labs would not be back for an entire week. So, don't know exactly what we're gonna do. I did not get my blood drawn. They told me to go somewhere else if I wanted stat lab, so I might have to go 2.5 hours away up to Medford, Oregon, if I want stat labs. I'm telling you, this waiting game, kind of used to it by now. Same old, same old. But in other news, we are pregnant. We got our first positive pregnancy test 4 days post-transfer, and it's been getting a little darker every day since. That's exciting, but still not getting my hopes up until we get the numbers back, if they're in the normal range or not. So yeah, don't know what's gonna happen. Don't know when my blood's gonna get drawn. Don't know when the results are gonna come back. Don't know anything right now. I just got my quantitative HCG blood test done at the hospital, and well, and my progesterone. The girl was not sure if they could do the HCG test in-house or if that has to be sent off. The progesterone has to be sent off. But she was not confident that they could do the HCG in-house, which means that if they have to send it off, it could be several days before we get that result back. So at this point, I'm still in limbo land. I do not know when I'm gonna get or hear anything. The waiting continues. We totally meant to record the conversation when Dr. Amy called with that first initial news. But unfortunately, as you can see, it got turned off as quickly as it got turned on, unfortunately. But the result of that conversation was very surprising and very wonderful. So because of where we are at right now, up with my parents, basically in the middle of nowhere, beside no big cities, I was not able to get my blood drawn as early as I was supposed to. I was supposed to get my blood drawn 8 days post-transfer. Ended up not being until 11 days post-transfer that I was able to get my blood drawn. That first lab came back then, again, 11 days post-transfer at 413. And it definitely is a lot higher than it is normally at that point. Like Dr. Amy said, she would have been happy if it had come back at 200. So we were absolutely, completely thrilled and shocked and surprised all at the same time. Then I had my HCG redrawn 3 days later, and it came back at 1737. And again, we were amazed and very thankful. Again, higher than normal. So Dr. Amy's like, I don't see any need for you to retest before our first ultrasound appointment, but you can if you want. So this week I do plan to get it redrawn just because there's no hurt in doing it. Why not? So I'll probably go and have that redrawn on Friday, which will be exactly 3 weeks post-transfer. I am on my way to the hospital. Today is Friday. I am going to get my blood redrawn. And today marks 3 weeks post-transfer. Yesterday, nausea hit. This morning, after I drank my water, I nearly threw up. But I'm not complaining. I am ever so grateful to be carrying another little human and everything that entails, even though it's not pleasant. So hopefully in a couple hours here, we will get the lab results back, and Lord willing, the numbers will continue to be where they should be. So labs just came back at 16,794, and again, this is 3 weeks post-transfer. 16,794. Again, really, really high. So we are so extremely grateful and thankful. Okay guys, just came into our little cabin here where we're staying at my in-laws. And just wanted to talk to you guys for a little bit, give you guys an update. So I am now 10 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Can't believe it. And we've still not had our first ultrasound because straight from our transfer, we went up to my parents' place in way northern California near the border of Oregon. And then came here to my in-laws directly from their place, and so was never able to swing by my doctor's office, Dr. Amy's office, to get our first ultrasound. And of course, I don't want to go to any other place. I want to share that first experience with Dr. Amy since she's been such an integral part in this process. We're going to be leaving here though in like 5 days, and so we plan to swing by her office on our way home and get our ultrasound, finally. I'll be like 11 weeks by then. We are in Southern California right now on our way back home from visiting family for all of November. So tomorrow we're going to leave bright and early, and on our way home we're going to swing by Dr. Amy's office and get our first ultrasound. It's going to be at 10:45 tomorrow, and I am nervous. Are you nervous?
No.
Are you excited?
I'm not nervous, but I'm not excited.
What are you?
I'm feeling bad about
What about it?
I'm feeling bad about it.
Oh dear. That we don't need bad news. We need good news. And you are making my phone very wobbly. What do you think, Pumpkin?
I think.
What are you thinking right now? Do you think the baby is going to be wiggling around? Or do you think it's going to be sleeping?
I think it's going to be sleeping.
Or do you think that everything's going to be good, or do you think it's going to be bad?
I think it's going to be good.
Okay, good. I'm glad you think so. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Moment of truth.
Oh, bye.
Look at our baby.
Wow.
Amazing.
What's up?
Incredible.
Beautiful. Heart rate's 183 beats per minute. So good. So cute.
Look at that.
Amazing, just incredible. So relieved.
Funny.
Bubsters, what's the news?
We're having a baby sister.
Well, we don't know if it's a sister or brother, but there's certainly a baby inside, isn't there?
Yeah.
Was it wiggling around?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it kicking around?
Yeah.
Maybe its arms and legs?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
No, it very well, most likely is a baby brother, Wesley.
You won't know yet for a few more weeks.
Yeah.
But this is the news.
They will see if it's a girl or a boy.
Yeah, we'll find out if it's a girl or a boy. So baby measured 12 weeks and 2 days. I am currently 11 weeks and 4 days. So nice big baby. Very healthy and no twins, of which I am very relieved and
Poo-poo
thankful
Leonardo.
about. Josh is a little bummed, but I am more than thankful. So it is a good day. We are so unbelievably thankful. So baby was measuring 12 weeks and 2 days, and at the time of my ultrasound I was 11 weeks and 4 days. So we got a little chunky chubbers in there. We do not know the gender of the baby yet, but Dr. Amy was able to, I guess she looked back in the records and she wrote the gender on a card, but she put it in an envelope. So we're going to throw the reveal probably around Christmas time when the whole family's together. I also want to thank Jesus, number one, for being the author, giver, sustainer of life. For without Jesus, none of us, nothing would have life, nothing would have breath. So thanks to Jesus, number one. Exactly. Number two, thanks to Dr. Amy, our fantastic doctor who has helped us tremendously throughout our whole journey to this point. I mean, she was legitimately the hands of Jesus, and we would not be here where we are today without her. So huge thanks to Dr. Amy. Next, I want to thank all of our family and our friends and all those who we don't even know who have been keeping us in prayer throughout this whole journey. Those prayers mean more than you know. So in conclusion of our IVF transfer vlog, I just want to take a moment to talk to the people out there who are still in the stage of waiting perhaps for their little miracle. You know, through our experience, we totally are able to understand what so many other people out there are experiencing. The statistics are crazy that like 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage, and like 1 in 6 couples experience infertility. That's quite the crazy statistic, but we are one of those. We've had 11 miscarriages that we know of, and we've gone through a lot of weeding also. A long stage of miscarriages and not knowing why. And then I guess it's been 2 years now since we have known the cause of the miscarriages, and everything just takes longer than you want and expect. So we understand those going through miscarriages. We understand those going through times of waiting. Trials that Satan brings to us is the result of living in a sinful world, as a result of our forefathers' disobedience and the consequence that followed. Satan wants to discourage us. He wants to bring us down. He wants us to feel in the dumps.
We don't want that.
You're right. He wants us to hit rock bottom, not be able to get up. Jesus says that he will walk through our fires with us, through our floods with us. We don't have to carry these burdens ourselves. We don't have to carry them alone, because Jesus wants us to cast all of our cares upon him. He doesn't want us to have to deal with the anxiety and the pain and the sorrow and the worry. He wants to take all of that for us, so that we can go through the trial experiencing perfect peace in the midst of whatever storm the devil is throwing our way. So just remember, friends, certainly we are not out of the woods at all by any stretch of the imagination. But I am here to tell you that God is faithful. His promises are faithful, and the promise that I have clung to a lot is the promise For I am the Lord your God that takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you.